Milwaukee isn't just for beer. We all know they make some killer tools, and today we're going to take a look at the latest addition I just got from my shop. So we all know it's an absolute fact that Milwaukee's killing the game with tools. Milwaukee's not only known for their tools, but also their beer. Now I don't drink beer anymore because I'm an alcoholic, however I love me some good beer facts. So I'm going to sprinkle in a beer fact every 60 seconds while we check out my latest tool. Thomas Jefferson wrote many parts of the Declaration of Independence in a Philadelphia tavern. Let's start that timer. So if you've been watching over the last few weeks, you'll know that I've been hitting Milwaukee pretty hard. And there's a reason for that. I'm absolutely loving these M12 fuel tools. My first exposure to these tools was in this video here where I took a look at their drill and driver set. And once I got that set, I was hooked. This was an affordable option to get into this battery infrastructure. And I've gone back to the Poe and they're still rocking that price of $99 for the drill and driver set along with two M12 batteries. So if you have any curiosity about Milwaukee, these are a great tool to check out. And once I got those tools, it was only a matter of a week until I got my second Milwaukee tool, the M12 Crown Stapler. Andre the Giant could drink 119 beers in 6 hours. And once I got that stapler, I couldn't wait to tear into the box to test it out. And true to Milwaukee form, this thing was a beast. Even at its lowest power setting, this thing had no problem driving in staples. And I tested out that Crown Stapler not only on pine, but its harder cousin, white oak. And she went balls deep in both, completely seating that staple both in the pine and the white oak. So all of a sudden I had a newfound respect for Milwaukee, which may not have been that much of an accomplishment after being a Ryobi fanboy for years.
Not sure if that's even a thing.
Now you would have thought that I got this Milwaukee tool today because I had so much success with the other tools I'd just gotten. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. You see, I did something that I hate doing. I lent out my two multi-tools to my stepfather-in-law. And guess what happened? He broke one of them. In fact, the new one. So I feel like it's my obligation to publicly post his address so that we can all send him a letter and tell him why us woodworkers don't like to lend out our tools. In the Wife Carrying World Championship held annually in Finland, the first prize is a wife's weight in beer. But maybe I should be thanking him, as this gave me an excellent excuse to patronize the Poe and check out our next tool. Let's get into it. This is the Milwaukee M12 Multi-Tool. Let's check it out. So the first thing that we need to do is to get this bad boy out of the box. And if I've learned anything from purchasing Milwaukee tools, they're stripped down with no accessories. I'm gonna have to immediately eat my words, as this tool actually came with some. Inside the box, you're going to find the multi-tool along with a hex key, sanding pad, saw blade, and some sandpaper, including a 60, 80, two 120s, and a 240 grit. Before we fiddle around with those accessories, let's take a tour of the tool itself. Now I just purchased the tool only as I have a couple of batteries. And that means it's probably a good time to talk about the price. This thing is very affordable at under 80 bucks. Now that's a great price, but if you don't have a battery, you're looking at about an extra 60 bucks. And believe it or not, that's actually cheaper than what I paid for my broken Ryobi that was just the tool only. In the 1980s, a beer-drinking goat was elected mayor of Lajitas, Texas, as I paid 130 bucks for my newest bookend. So I'm a little disappointed that I didn't buy this multi-tool right off the bat. Let's throw in the battery and take a look at how this tool works. Now one of the first things that I noticed about this tool is even with the battery plugged in, you can set this tool on end. It also appears to be very easy to operate. On the top of the tool, you'll find the power button, and this can be easily turned on and off with your thumb during use. On the side of the tool, you'll also find a couple of other features. When you flip the tool on with your thumb, the fuel gauge lights up, and this is a red LED display showing your battery life. Right below that fuel gauge, you probably noticed the dial. This knob adjusts the speed of oscillations going from 1 all the way up to 12 at its highest. And those oscillations per minute go from 5,000 at its lowest to 20,000 at its highest. Now let's look at the head of the tool to see how that works. And this is where we get to play with some of those accessories. This multi-tool accepts most blades with just an adjustment with the hex key. Old Vikings believed in their heaven there was a giant goat whose udders provided an unlimited supply of beer. To attach different accessories, you simply take the hex key and unscrew the accessory bolt to expose the outer flange. And with everything removed, you can simply add whatever accessory you want, add the flange, and tighten it down with the hex key. And with a standard blade in place, you can be off to the races whether you're flush cutting a dowel or even adjusting some trim. Now, the majority of the time you're going to be using that blade, however, there will be some times when you use this as a sander. And to convert this multi-tool, it's as simple as replacing the blade with a sanding pad and adding the hook and loop sandpaper. And with its oscillating motion and triangular pad, you can not only get into those tight spots, but you can also clean up those dowels you just cut off. And most importantly, you get all these features in a sleek tool without a clunky battery. Now, 9 out of 10 days, I think you'll see me grabbing the Milwaukee over the Ryobi. But I did want to show you one advantage the Ryobi has over the Milwaukee. And that has everything to do with blade changeout. Instead of having to grab a hex key, all you have to do with the Ryobi is flip a switch. The Great Pyramids were built under the influence. Workers were paid daily in rations of beer, about 4 liters. Since we all know we tend to lose these little guys from time to time, it can be difficult to find them when we go to switch out those blades. So the Ryobi completely solved this problem. By lifting the tab on the back and removing the pin on the front, it's completely eliminated the need for an Allen key. As once that pin's removed, you can quickly switch out the blade. And once that blade's in place, you simply replace the pin, flip the tab, and you're good to go, giving the Ryobi a few extra points. Well, I hope you enjoyed checking out my latest Milwaukee addition to my shop. If you enjoyed checking out this tool, I'll leave some links in the end of this video to some of my other Milwaukee tools. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video. It really does help out this small woodworking channel. And if you like fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos, check out FlynnDoggWoodwork.com. Lastly, if you like this video on Milwaukee, check out the links at the end of this video to see more information on Milwaukee. The speed record for drinking beer was once set by an Australian Prime Minister, drinking 2.5 pints in 11 seconds. I wonder if he had a bong. Once again, I really appreciate it. Have a great week and take care as always. The saying, a rule of thumb, came from brewers, who used to stick their thumb in the mix to see if the temperature was right for adding yeast. The world's longest hangover lasted for 4 weeks after a Scotsman drank 60 pints of beer in a day. The saying, mind your P's and Q's, used to come from bartenders who would tell their patrons to calm down and mind their pints and quarts. We've all heard how soda isn't good for you, but Belgians took it to an entirely different level. In the 2000s, they began serving low-alcohol beer to their students. The Code of Hammurabi decreed that bartenders who watered down their beer should be executed.